Closing. Everybody wins when we match great solutions to our prospects' problems. Our goal in this module on closing is to develop a closing strategy and game plan, and ultimately build your confidence to ask for the order. Some thoughts around successful closing include, and please note some items were covered in pipeline and prospect management. Many areas go hand in hand. Document your agenda. In a perfect world, what would happen? Understand your sales process, pipeline management. Understand their buying process. What does that look like? Align your process with theirs, staying focused on their needs and not yours. People mapping and customer journey mapping. Qualified leads, prospects and prospects versus suspects. Driving urgency, your follow-up and follow-through, forecasting and accurate goal setting. Everybody wins when we match great solutions to our prospects' needs and problems. Be sure that you identify the decision maker. Knowing the decision maker is crucial to a quick close. This should happen in discovery. Be real. Keep it real. A client can sense if you're not being genuine during the sales process. It's absolutely vital to maintain their trust. Create a sense of urgency. Why you and why now? Overcome any objections. Be ready and prepared for any objections that might arise. Know your competition. What are all the alternatives, including doing nothing? Watch what you say. Your words really matter. I've got a few extra points as well. When at all possible, let other people close for you. Leveraging referrals and third-party endorsements is critical and key. If and when you're not the first choice, make sure you're the second choice. Lose gracefully and be prepared to swoop in when number one fails. Ask for feedback. What could I have done differently to earn your business? Understand that there's a ton of closing techniques, from the direct question close, the trial close, the 1 to 10 close, impending event close or working off of a deadline, the FOMO, fear of missing out, scarcity close. Everybody is getting them, so you better hop on now. The choice of two positives. Would you like to get started this month or next month? The takeaway close. You know what? Now is probably not the right time for you to get started. Those are just a number of closing techniques. I encourage you to practice and find what works best for you, your style, as well as your prospects. Seek to understand the data, both quantitatively, looking at close rates, as well as qualitatively, asking for feedback from your prospects. Being ready for objections. Preparing for and getting ready for objections requires you to think and plan ahead. Similar to the multiplication tables, practicing and committing them to memory, you should work to understand in advance what are the most common objections you're facing and your associated response. Whether it's some of the common ones, timing, budget, competition, or some other common objection that you might face, you should be ready and prepared. Listen, seek to understand the sentiment and the true objection, and then offer a solution to the stated objection. Everyone wins negotiations. Throughout negotiations, we want all prospects to have a good experience and to feel understood, listened to, and prioritized throughout. Although each party may be giving up something in the form of concessions within the negotiation, you ultimately want to serve your client's best interests and needs while also not sacrificing your business objectives, for example, growth. It's good to stick close to your price whenever you can, but have a couple of levers you can use to make a deal happen, like a discount for referrals or a feature that could be omitted to meet a price goal. And if you don't win the business, you always want to walk away with respect and hopefully part ways in a friendly manner. Never burn a bridge, as you never know when your paths may cross again, as well as prospects talk to other prospects, and you want to safeguard your reputation in the market. Next level questions. Throughout the sales process, a true sales professional must always exhibit a polite persistence. To drive the process forward, ask questions and come to multiple agreements as you build the deal to make sure it makes sense to continue forward. You'll have the most success when you engage in deep inquiry with questions like, do they have the motivation? Do they want to change? Do they acknowledge that they have a need? Do they understand that need and want to do something about it? Take action. Do they trust and believe you? Do they like the terms of the agreement? Is there anything other than price holding them back? Do they have the power to actually make a decision? And then who is the absolute decision maker? Here is Mike Morgan sharing keys to closing a sale. Listen closely.
The keys to closing a sale start before you ever make contact with your prospect in the very first engagement. It's understanding what their business is about, what their business model is about. It's understanding the person that you're going to be selling to personally, what their motivations are. Once you have a real firm understanding of what the likely needs are on the prospect side, then the next key to successfully closing the sale is getting to a point where your prospect has emotionally connected with the need. They've admitted that they have the need. They've admitted that the need is something that they're willing to invest time and resources to solve. And if you've developed those things, then you actually have something that's closable. Until you have an mutually agreed upon need between you and the prospect that you're working on, there's really no opportunity to close anything. Another key to closing a sale is it shouldn't be an event. It should be a natural outcome to the course of the conversations that you've had, the interactions that you've had with the prospect. And at the end of the day, the key to closing a sale is connecting with someone emotionally. And generally, there are going to be two ways that you're going to need to connect with them on an emotional level. One is you need to help them solve a real business need that they admit that they have. And if you want to really be successful at closing sales, you need to get to a point where there's a personal motivation for them buying from you as well. The more emotionally connected they are personally to the thing that you're trying to solve, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to close the sale. So that's really the key, to developing the closing process. It's critically important that you ask and don't assume. And what I mean by that is a lot of times in sales conversations, we assume the answers without actually hearing them come from the prospect's mouth to our ears. We project what we want them to say onto them without actually getting confirmation that that's how they feel. So one of the core, one of the things that I think is critically important in closing the sale is getting confirmation from your assumptions, getting confirmation of your assumptions back from the prospect. In other words, if you think it, make sure you elicit that response and get clarity from the prospect, because what you'll find often is they don't completely agree with you or they don't think exactly what you think they're thinking. However, when they tell you what they're thinking, you've got concrete information that you can deal with in the sales process to help keep the sales moving forward.
Trust and relationships. Remember that you're the trusted business advisor charged with getting your prospects to the best place for their business. Do they understand the implications of not making a move or changing now? Will it be a disaster or will they be okay? How can you help them make that best choice? By taking a proactive, consultative approach, you're able to build that trust that a long-term relationship is built on. Before we hop into our last lesson on how to close like a pro, I want you to hear again from Donald. As a leader with over 30 years of sales experience, you better believe he's closed a lot of deals. Let's hear his thoughts on what it means to be a closer.
A couple of key elements to successfully driving your deal to closure is an interesting thing that we all battle with in sales. There's actually this phrase, always be closing. It's a bunch of crap. You need to know the right time to ask for the order. You need to know the right time to ask for the paperwork to be completed. And the way to think about this is not about your goals to make money for a particular quarter, but about the problem and the timing the customer's problem must be solved. So that means if you need to implement a certain piece of software or technology in order for that client to be able to fulfill orders for their customer, that is their meaningful reason to close quickly, because they need to use your technology, your service, your product to help them do a job. Being a closer is about being other-centered and giving the client the ability to get time to value. And that's what you want to talk about when you're closing business. If I'm just trying to close you because I want to make President's Club, I want to buy a beach house, I want an extra commission, customers feel that. And they feel and understand that you're not looking out for their best interest. Closing is about understanding the timing and tempo of the client's need and matching that to your products and service. So always be closing, that's really not true. Always be building trust. And then you'll know the right time to ask for the order, because you don't have to be slick about it. You can just ask the client, how are we going to implement this technology, this service, this product to help you win in the marketplace? And when do you need to do that to meet your goals?
Drive the close. Closing isn't what happens at the very end of the sales process. Closing is an activity that actually happens throughout the entire sales process. Don't be afraid to ask for their business. You've got to pop the question, do we have a deal? Every call should drive the deal towards revenue. This is called trial closing. I would hate to oversimplify this point, but many times sales professionals forget to actually ask for the business. Say what? It's a natural progression of you demonstrating value and your ability to match your product or service with your prospect's needs, wants, desires, and challenges. To move forward in solidifying a commitment and moving forward and making the transaction official, signed, sealed, and delivered. Post-close like a pro. After the close, of course, you need to deliver what you promised, how, and when you promised it. You should also stay in contact to make sure the solution is implemented properly, including onboarding, any troubleshooting, as well as future training. When your clients are happy, they produce more good for you. Upsell and cross-sell opportunities are fantastic. Once you've established an initial beachhead, you can now identify opportunities to upgrade to a more robust option or sell related products and services. The revenue produced from these moves yield high ROI for your efforts. Referrals. Your satisfied customers may connect you to other contacts with similar needs, or to opportunities like speaking engagements or other activities that put you in contact and in front of other prospects. Referrals are the most effective way to surface prospects and expand your network. After the deal is done, it's not the end of the story. It's actually the first chapter in building a strong book of business with this customer as well as others. you have created a personal brand as a sales professional and trusted business advisor and solution provider. Increased your creativity and sales effectiveness, and assembled a toolkit to grow your book of business, your value, and your reputation in the marketplace. By consuming the instructional content and completing the self-assessments and exercises, you now have valuable new skills and competencies, including but not limited to a confident and strategic mindset for selling, strategies for spending your time and your prospects' time wisely, planning methodologies for every phase of the sales process, best practices for prospecting, mining for gold, a proven approach to assess and address your prospects' needs, tips for demonstrating your value, tactics to manage your funnel and move deals forward in the sales process, and the confidence to ask for and win the business. Congratulations, you've now completed Sales 101 The Basics. You're ready to go to market and start serving your clients and your prospects. I'm super excited and just honored to have led you along this journey, and I thank you for trusting us with your professional development. Wishing you all the best, and we'll see you soon.